Good morning and happy Mother's Day. So glad to have you join us on this wonderful day celebrating mothers, wives, daughters, all of the feminine archetype. It's really interesting. I love that in our culture we have days that celebrate different people. You know, Mother's Day is not just for mothers. It tends to celebrate all of the females that inhabit this planet. And then we have Father's Day coming up next month, which isn't just celebrating fathers, it's also husband, son, pretty much all of the males that inhabit this planet. And so welcome to those of you who are joining us live, and it's an honor to be able to celebrate this special day with all of you. Also, little announcements. So next week is when we're having our first guest speaker. Deanna Zayats is going to be coming. Very excited about her talk, which will be talking about the parable of walking on water and how that can pertain more literally in our lives, and what she believes was actually meant in her mind, what the interpretation of that is for our lives today. And so that will be next Sunday. And another exciting thing, Deanna and I are going to be starting a new segment soon called Tea with DNA. Get it? Dee and Angela. So anyway, we'll be having a lot of fun with that. I hope you're watching our midweek videos too, the Monday Moment of Reflection, the Wednesday What segment, and we might be doing Tea with DNA on Tuesdays. We haven't set a for sure date for that yet, but be watching for that soon, and be ready to meet Deanna next Sunday. So since it is Mother's Day, I thought it would be great to talk about the feminine archetype, because we all have both the male and female aspects within us. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, both of those exist within you, the male and the female archetype, which is just that presence, that motherly presence and that fatherly presence, the goddess energy. A lot of times I'll talk about the feminine energy as the goddess within too, and just that, all of everything that comes up with the term mother. And think for a moment, what comes up to you when you think of the term mother? Are you thinking about things with your biological mom, or if you were adopted, maybe it's your foster parent or your adoptive mother? Is that what your first thought is? Because I actually want to rise the conversation up a little bit above that. So it's not just in the human aspect of who your mother was, because oftentimes that will bring up positives and negatives, because we have a full range of emotions with all of our family and everybody else in our life too. But raising it to the level above that, where we're actually talking about the goddess energy that's within all of us and that mother energy that's within us. And so thinking about all of the different traits that represents. When I think of the feminine archetype, one of the first things I think of is Mom Gaia. I use the term Mom Gaia to represent Mother Earth. And if you think about Mother Earth, she really is able to be fully sustaining on her own, and she's fully nurturing all on her own too. She specifically has the ability to give us all of the sustenance that we need in this life. All of the food that we need comes from her. All of the materials we use for building our shelters and everything that we use as, human bodies, we get from Mom Gaia. And at the same time that we use all of these things from her because she's nurturing us, she has this incredible ability to sustain herself, even with us, taking continually all that we take as humans. She's continually sustaining herself, and she is moving and growing and evolving on her own. Every year we see these different changes that happen with the Mother Earth. And it's up to us, even though she is sustaining herself, it's also up to us to really give back and to be able to help her sustain. Because just as she nurtures us, it's important for us to give back and to nurture her. Because a lot of times people will talk about saving the planet, and I'm definitely a huge environmentalist myself. But at the same time that we talk about saving the planet, what we're really talking about is saving the planet for ourselves. Saving the planet so we're not depleted of all the resources and everything that we need as people to survive, because Mom Gaia will survive long after humans do. So if we, as the children of Mom Gaia, end up wreaking havoc and losing the resources that we need to survive and sustain, Mom Gaia is going to continue just fine without us. So it's that nurturing and that balance that we need to make the choice to do. Yes, she nurtures us. Are we willing to reciprocate that back to her? And then if you think about that in your own life as well, you have that mother, I want to say archetype, and sometimes I've heard some people that talk about archetype, and that raises kind of an interesting definition of a kind of domineering or kind of a larger term, but archetype really is just talking about the persona. So the aspect, the feminine aspect. When I say archetype, I mean the feminine aspect, or that goddess aspect, that mother aspect within us. And so if you think about relating Mother Earth and her terms of nurturing us and sustaining herself, and that she would do just fine without us, but we might not. And so turn that into your own self as well. So how often are you nurturing yourself? How often are you giving and nurturing others? And there needs to be a balance even within yourself of how much you are giving out and how much you're bringing back in, and you're refilling yourself, and you're continuing to make yourself so that you can be continuing to sustain in a good way. And there are different types of people. Some people feel like they get their sustenance and they get filled up, if you will, by being around other people. And other people feel like they get filled up by being more alone and quiet and in their own space. So it's important to really get to know yourself and to know what fills you up, what nurtures your soul, what helps you grow and sustain. And are you doing that for yourself? Are you taking care of yourself? Some of the other things, if you think about the motherly aspect and that feminine aspect, that yin yang that we have within us, because, and we'll talk, like I said, a lot more about the paternal aspect next month with the yang aspect, but the yin is that mother aspect, which when I think of that, I think of nurturing, I think of caring, guiding, teaching, loving, and then also intuition. Intuition is a strong feminine aspect. And I won't keep wanting to stress how much we all have both of these aspects within us. Some people think that if you're a woman, then you might have more feminine aspects, or if you're a man, you might have more of the paternal aspects, but we really have both, and it's so important to nurture both of those. And that term nurturing, again, it's tapping into that mother side. So really think about what aspects that means, and where are you lacking, and where are your strengths. So are you nurturing to other people? Do you nurture yourself in return? Are you caring? Are you really thoughtful to other people? And do you think of yourself? Do you take care of yourself? Because it's important to take care of ourselves first, as well as taking care of other people. Just like on an airplane, they say put that oxygen mask on yourself first, and then you put it on your child. And so it's really talking a lot. I've been just guided a lot by Spirit to talk a lot about caring for yourself too, and that nurturing for yourself. How do you bring up and raise up the goddess aspect within you? And a lot of that is taking care of yourself and being thoughtful to yourself. And then also guiding and teaching are the other ones that I think of a lot with the feminine aspect, because a lot of, mothers are teachers, and it's really interesting if you flip that around too. A lot of mothers will say they learn so much about the world by having a child and then seeing the world through their child's eyes. And I've seen some psychologists talk about how you can actually get down on a lower level. If you get down at a child's height and you look around at the world, then you can learn so much from that. So get creative with your feminine side and think about how you can learn new things, and teaching yourself, and then also being open to other people too. Think about who in your life is a teacher to you, and think about what things you can learn from them. I believe we're all teachers and students, so really think about who in your life you're learning from, and who in your life are you teaching, and what are you learning from yourself, and what are you teaching yourself too. Really, it's about driving all of these concepts in, not just outwardly, but also inwardly. And that really encompasses a lot about the feminine archetype, is that inward journey, and that really kind of compounds down when you look at how life starts. It starts within the womb. I mean, there's not much more of an inward journey than starting within the womb and growing and then life expands. Well, you can reach that same state within yourself as an adult too. If you meditate and you think about going into a womb-like state and really pull yourself out of this world that really traps us and gets us, our minds go in so many different directions in this world. Pull yourself back a little bit, take time, meditate, and allow yourself to see yourself as being back in a womb and pulled out of the world, and then nurturing. See what your needs are, nurture, fill that in, and then see yourself emerging again back out of the womb. And it can be amazing the lessons that you can learn that way. When you're in that type of a meditation, if you're really working to bring in the feminine aspect in that type of a meditation, it's a really good one to also empty out your breath. I don't know if we've talked much in the videos. I know we have in our discussion times about emptying out your breath fully. And this is a perfect time to really focus on as you're meditating and you're getting into that feminine side and you go into the womb and you exhale so completely that you exhale that first breath. So you really focus on exercising, breathing in and breathing out. And you can even tie that into it being akin to that movement within the womb too. And when you use those visuals like that and you are pulling yourself back and you're really bringing yourself into that moment, then your mind will automatically go back to those cleansing moments of being in the womb and being born again with that. And you can actually really use that if you're trying to let go of certain habits or you're trying to bring in new aspects like the feminine aspects. You can use that to really bring those in, allow your mind to clear completely in that, and then see yourself as being born again, as what you want your life to be now, and what you want your mental attitude to be, and what you want your thought patterns to be. And you can leave all of that behind as you exhale out deeply those last breaths, that deepest breath in the depth of your lungs. Breathe out anything you want to let go of, and then breathe in using that maternal side within you that creates life, that creative force that's within everybody, male, female, everybody. Breathe that creative force in, and then learn how you can create new patterns in your life and learn how you can create exactly what you want your life to be. The feminine aspect is very creative. It's that epicenter of creation, truly. And within that epicenter of creation is that epicenter of power and that ability to manifest and that ability to do anything that you want. In a lot of the Native American cultures, they talk a lot about how the woman is at the center of all of creation, and they talk about all of the power that comes within that feminine creativity. Well, we all have that within us. And it's about going within and letting go of all of the things society teaches you and just realizing that you have that power within you. And a lot of that power is right within the solar plexus for that I am center, which is right around the belly button. It's also in the second chakra too. So we talk about the chakras at different points. The second chakra is the sacral chakra. And then the third chakra is the I am center, the solar plexus. So just below your belly button, just above your belly button. The creative forces are in the sacral, and then the I am and the power center is in the right above your belly button, where your diaphragm is basically. And so you can really tap into those as you meditate, as you use your breath. And as you do that, really think about what those feminine aspects are that you want to bring into your life and the strong creative forces that come with that. And as you do that, you're automatically teaching yourself. You're automatically guiding yourself. It's a very loving, it's a very caring thing to do for yourself. So you're bringing in automatically, just by starting that process, all of these feminine aspects. And then from there, you can name what it is you want to create in your life, what it is that you want to bring in, what maternal aspects you want to bring out and show more. And then that can also be a great gateway for the intuition too. If you're wanting to increase your intuition, that's a very feminine type of an attribute. And so you can work on increasing your intuition, because we're all intuitive. We all have this ability within us. It sometimes comes a little bit easier for some than others, but the more you practice with it, the more it will start to really increase. And if you want to use the term goddess, you can use the term goddess and ask the goddess to come into your life more too. So it all of that depends on, there's so much about semantics. For some people, if you use the term goddess, it raises triggers and they get concerned. Well, the goddess is the same thing as the God. Both of those aspects are within us. They're who we are at our core. We are all gods and goddesses within us. And so when you access the goddess and you're bringing up the goddess energy that's within you, you're just tapping into that full line of that maternal power, that creative force, that caring, nurturing, and that ability to do and create anything that you want in this life. And so what greater thing than to tap into that? And as you tap into that, that joy and that beauty and that life force that comes out within you is then going to spread to all of those around you too. And they'll see that glow that kind of radiates out from within you. It's interesting with women who are pregnant. A lot of times people will see that they have like this glow that just radiates around them. And that's just being in touch with that goddess energy within. And so the more you're in touch with that, the more you will start to radiate with that type of a glow. And it's just a very natural, wonderful thing. So thinking about how can you care for those aspects more? Think about each of those different aspects, nurturing, caring, thoughtfulness, intuition, teaching, guiding, loving, all of those things. Where do you maybe lack a little bit in your life? Where do you really excel in your life? And how can you add some more energy into those parts that might be a little bit weaker currently? And throughout life, we really change. Sometimes you might be really excelling at teaching and not really excelling at caring for yourself. And at other points in your life, you might be really great at loving and caring for yourself, but you're so busy and you're so caught up in the world that you're not learning or teaching. And so we all have these fluxes. So see where you're at right now. Don't judge it in any way. Just see where you're at. And then where can you add a little bit more energy, a little bit more insight, and then bringing up that feminine aspect. It's really so much about balance. But if you feel like that maternal aspect isn't quite as balanced as the paternal side, then maybe it's time to, add some extra energy to that. We'll get more into the paternal side next month and maybe drawing that down and adding energy into that. So it's finding that balance within yourself, that yin yang, and then seeing how you can express yourself, how you can express that aspect more within you. So I challenge you to do that this week. Think about where you can add more of this energy to yourself. It's really about finding the balance within yourself first, and then when you find the balance within yourself, when you are really learning about yourself, when you are just challenging yourself to get better day by day, then that love, that joy, that knowledge is going to automatically flow to those around you and really increase the blessings in your life. So I believe that's about all I have for today on the maternal aspect, that loving goddess energy aspect. But I definitely want to say a happy Mother's Day to all of you out there. And I look forward to seeing you next week when we have Deanna Zayats here. And don't forget to like the Earth and Sky page too, so that you can catch all of those midweek videos and so that you don't miss any of our Sunday videos as well. And we'll be doing meditation here in just a moment as well. So thank you.